Palamarchuk suffering that what looked like a pretty serious head injury, and Nikki Slater. You ever seen the like of that before?
I've never seen that. There's accidents in training, but never during a live event to that extent. That's just horrendous, and the lack of response to it was in part caused by the fact this has never happened. We've never seen this happening in World Championship competition.
You have to say too that you know, it was a horrendous collision with the ice, but you know the medical attention here was slow, frankly laughable. You know, many seconds have elapsed now, and he's clearly dazed. And I think possibly, for an instant, certainly Simon and Chris, who were ringside, reckoned it probably knocked unconscious for an instant. Sergei Bubka looking on. And you know, coming on here, we've got men in flat shoes here. This should be a medical team on skates, trained to deal with such situations. And with a head injury, you know, it's basic. You do not move the head. You don't help the man to his feet. You stabilise. There should have been a neck brace there. I didn't see one. You know, it was handled, I thought handled, absolutely appallingly and amateurishly, which again, to me, it doesn't do the ISU and the organisation of these World Championships any favours at all. And I said at the start of the programme, it was my first line actually, is there a curse on the players in 2000? We've had the drug test positive on the World Champions, we had the stabbing incident last night, and now this. I mean, am I overreacting here, Nikki? Do you think this situation, very sad situation, has been well handled?
Well, it wasn't well handled from a medical point of view. The people should have been on skates, they should have been there, but the issue is, it's a real precedent. We haven't seen this. So whilst everything you're saying is right, and I mean, you know, should the people have gloves on when they're dealing with people these days? That was what happens over here. You know, where are the medics? What, are they kitted out? You know, you would think if they're in that situation, they should be able to deal with it. But it's just such a precedent. What got me was, you know, for her as well, the support for her. And I think what happened was they waited for the referee to clear them to go onto the ice. It's like, what do we do now? And the referee would have to make a decision as to what happens, because he's controlling the venue, if you like. And it's such a precedent that that's what maybe held it up for a few moments.
Yeah, I was reading on the internet, doing my research for these championships, and a story in America. It was either a Canadian or an American skater, a young skater, who actually fractured his skull very badly in a fall very like this, and he suffered facial paralysis as a result. So, you know, there obviously, you know, there have been incidents when this is, maybe obviously not, as you say, at this level, but this type of thing has happened before. But Nikki?
Well, what it shows to me is that we see the grace, we see the speed, we see the power, but often we forget just how difficult this is and how dangerous. You know, when those girls are turning up in the air, the guys do get the scars on the chest because they get caught and they show them off to each other. But if you get it wrong, you know, the thing is, get underneath the girl if the girl's going to fall, because you don't want her to hurt herself. And he managed to do that at his cost, but he managed to cushion her landing a little bit. So good on him for doing that, because there have been occasions where the girl has actually gone out in front of the skater and gone down, and she's really exposed them. If he's holding her hands, head goes down first. So making sure you can land safely as possible is all part of the training. But it was horrendous. And then the next thing that came after it, you know, I can understand what was happening, because there is Chris, and he's behind the scenes. You're having to wait. You're really pumped up and primed to be skating, and suddenly in front of you is a friend, a co-competitor, lying on the floor, and you then have to go out and skate. And you just go out there and you lose it. Now, the issue, I have now somebody who's helping us, and thank you for this guidance. Now, at that point in time, the referee has absolute control over what happens. Technically, they shouldn't have been able to start again. But there is the thing that you mentioned, there's compassion in relation to what else has happened. So to then let them restart from where they finished that last move was what was decided on. I think it was a great decision. Difficult for the referee in the extreme in these circumstances, but then great on Chris for getting on with it. But I thought Christy was just superb, you know, because she was like there, she was loving him there, you know. It was like, if this doesn't work, it's okay, you know, we'll just go off the ice. And when you build that relationship with your partner to such an extent that you trust, she wasn't beating him up, she wasn't angry, she was just, okay, a very assured young woman, and just helped him out of it and helped him back. And there were no recriminations at the end. And I totally understood what happened, and I thought that was well dealt with. And the way he skated after that was on autopilot, but they were great.
And it could be their last championships.